Walt Disney once said, here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy. Throughout my life, Disneyland has been a place where dreams come true and memories are being made with the people I love, bringing us all together. Everyone needs an escape from reality once in a while to remember what it feels like to be a kid. I am going to inform you about how Disneyland was built and created. First, I'm going to speak on how Disneyland was built. Then I'm going to speak about opening day at Disneyland. Lastly, I'm going to talk about how the Disneyland we see today. First, let me start off by talking about how Disneyland was built. The concept of Disneyland began one day when Walt Disney was at Griffin's Park with his two daughters, watching and waiting for them to get off the merry-go-round. He came up with this idea about a park where adults and kids could work together, a more clean and inclusive park. So on August 31st, 1948, plans began to form as he wrote the first memo for Mickey Mouse Park. Walt Disney ended up starting in 1952, the WED, aka Walt Elias Disney, which was a new company that was focused on making this dream a reality. The staff included many of Walt Disney's artists and former designers from his movies. Using funding from ABC, Walt was able to acquire some necessary money to start creating the park. He was also able to acquire 160 acres of land in the farming district of Anaheim. July 16th of 1954, construction began, and crews were working around the clock to try to meet Walt's tight timeline. Although they faced many difficulties, not really having the funding that Walt wanted to make the park his dream park, Walt ended up having to sell vacation homes and even took out money from his own life insurance to try to fund the park. Even employees were pitching in donations to try to finish the park. They removed old orange trees and used what they could to save money for rides like the Jungle Cruise, even posting ads in the newspaper to take old trees from people all around Los Angeles, trying to cut costs of the park. As stated in the movie, The Imagineering Story, by opening day, he had spent $17 million, 3 times the original budget. But what was once orange groves was becoming tropical jungles, a western frontier land, a towering castle, and a place filled with magic. In the summer of 1955, Disneyland opened to the public, and the magazine WDW states, thanks to Disney's partnership with ABC, the event aired nationally to an audience of about 90 million viewers at home. After talking about how it was built, I'm now going to talk about opening day. July 17th, 1955, opening day at Disneyland was a packed mess. Katie Dowes found out that the first day was supposed to be by invitation only, but things immediately went off the rails. Clever scammers hung around the gates selling counterfeit tickets, and over thousands of counterfeit tickets were sold. Swarming with guests that it wasn't prepared for, problems began to arise quite quickly, and due to heat, the asphalt hadn't dried, and women were finding that their shoes were stuck in the asphalt as they walked down Main Street. Disney had to decide whether they could finish the faucets or the toilets, and so they had no working drinking water, and many complained that he was just trying to drum up Coke sales. Vendors were running out of food and drinks quickly. The Mark Twain almost capsized, and all day long, welders were welding the teacups back together, trying just to keep the park in order. Yet even with all of this horribleness, and press naming it Walt's Nightmare and employees calling it the Black Sunday, the park grew into a great success. While being able to see a better version of opening day through ABC's live coverage, in 2 months' time, Disneyland had already seen its millionth guest pass the gates. As Walt said on opening day, to all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relieves fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Now that I have talked about opening day, I'm now going to talk about the Disneyland we see today. Walt Disney once said, Disneyland will never be completed. It will continue to grow as long as there is imagination left in the world. Disney quickly began changing again, with Walt bringing in new Imagineers. Walt Disney urged Imagineers and employees to listen to guests and go in lines and just listen to what they had to say about the different rides, and started bringing in new people like Marc Davis, changing rides and revamping the park. The Jungle Cruise we know today is very different to the educational ride of the past. Marc Davis actually added the puns known by many today, like, and now the moment you've been waiting for. the stupendous, the colossal, the eighth wonder of the world, the backside of water, giving us a new experience and adding entertainment to the park. February 8th, 2001, they even added a new theme park called California Adventure. And it's meant to pay homage to the beautiful state that this park is in. And now they've even announced that there's plans for a possible third park. While COVID may have paused Disney's, staff from Emily Walsh, a business and news fellow at Insider, found out that Disneyland Anaheim, California saw about 85% of its 2019 attendance levels by the end of the summer. Disney will continue to change and adapt through the years as the world changes and adapts. Now that I've talked about Disneyland we see today, I just want to say Disneyland was built out of a desert farmland and went through a rough opening day, with many believing it would fail. Yet Disney continues to adapt and change, surprising guests and continuing to create magic. As Walt has said, why do we have to grow up? I know more adults who have children approach life. They're people who don't hang out with the Joneses do. You see them at Disneyland every time you go there. They're not afraid to be delighted with simple pleasures, and they have a degree of contentment with what life has brought. Sometimes it isn't much either. Life at Disneyland just brings in that magic and those moments in life where you can remember forever. Thank you for listening.